Hello, my name is Keenan, and this is my wife Janine, and we are the West. And welcome to our channel, Destination West Africa.
Why is it called Destination West Africa, babe?
Because our destination is Africa, and we are the West.
That's us.
Yeah, that's us.
And it's not just us. We have 3 children, a 13-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 4-year-old, 2 girls and a boy, in that order. So, why is our destination Africa, sir?
Oh, do we have enough time?
Maybe in the future. That we'll do a background video later. This is the introductory video, just so you get to know who we are and what we're doing, and a little bit of how we got to this point in our journey.
Yeah, by the way, we are actually, we're in Chicago right now. We are on our way to Tanzania. This is our first trip to Tanzania.
Yep.
This will be my 3rd trip to Africa, my wife's 2nd trip, and our children, it will be their 1st trip. So I went to Ghana in 2008. My wife and I went to Kenya in 2018, and here it is 2021. We are going to Tanzania. We actually were supposed to make this trip last year, but of course due to the pandemic it ended up being pushed back, and as a matter of fact, we were not going to go to Tanzania. We were initially going to go to Ghana.
Yep.
And so we decided that we are going to take this trip to Tanzania.
We landed on Tanzania. How?
Because we were looking at the cost of living in Tanzania, and we realized that the cost of living in Tanzania is cheaper than the cost of living in Ghana. And so we decided that we wanted to, explore Tanzania, because ultimately we are looking forward to making a transition from America to the motherland, to the continent of Africa. And we'll go into more of the reason why in a later video.
So it's our children's spring break, our 2 girls who are in elementary and middle school, and we decided that if we were going to consider moving to Africa, there would be imperative that we visit as often as we could to get as much of our own research done on the ground and check things out ourselves. So we said, well, when we go on vacations, now we'll go on vacations to Africa. And since our children's spring break was coming up, we thought it would be a great idea. Since when we came to Kenya, we decided that when we came back, we would take our children to the continent and expose them to their heritage and the African culture, because we had such an amazing time then. So, as I said, and at that point we weren't talking about moving to Africa in 2018. That was not a plan. I don't think it was something that we had ever discussed. But we did talk about how we would want to visit often. When we go on vacations, we'll go to places in Africa. So the recent desire to move our family there and actually become expatriates in the continent is fairly new. But like you said, he'll go into that later. So anyway, so we decided to use this opportunity, since it was spring break, bring our children. My husband said, well, it's a lot less expensive for the 2 of us to just go. I said, we can't be taking their spring break vacation blah, 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 and coming to Africa without the children. Leave them with the grandparents on spring break. That just didn't seem right.
It's a pandemic.
Yeah.
Money is funny, change is strange.
Yeah. We had to
And
plan
so,
for it.
so it was because we always said that we would, the next time we go to Africa, we would take the children with us.
Yep.
And then I guess last year we were thinking, okay, let's take them. Mm-hmm. And then it was getting, the pandemic hit. We were getting to the end of the year. We were thinking maybe we should just go to Ghana. You and I just go. and then we'll just, as a matter of fact, we were thinking about going in December, January.
It was more expensive, wasn't it?
More expensive, January, and plus the time period for us to get everything lined up for us to get ready to go.
So that, I want to talk about that a little bit on this video. Since we are at the airport, any families that are considering maybe not moving to Africa for good, but traveling to Africa, some of the things that you need to prepare for and know. You will definitely have to make sure that you get your passports and get them in time prior to you purchasing your ticket, because we needed the passport to even buy the ticket.
Right.
You need the passport information. So, and then so you want to go on to us.gov to look for the cost of passports, because you know whether or not you need it renewed or you need brand new passports. My husband and I had passports. Our 3 children did not, so they had to get brand new passports, and ours didn't need to be renewed. So we were good.
And it didn't take that long either. Well,
it
took 4 weeks in the midst of the pandemic, because nobody's traveling.
Yeah.
You can get the passports faster than normal.
So we didn't have to pay for expedited, which was something we considered because we knew we wanted to have them by March. But like my husband said, the offices are not quite as busy because people aren't traveling as much as they were before. Now that might start to change now that the vaccines are available. But that's number one. Then get your passport. Of course, do your due diligence searching for your airline tickets. You'll need your passport to book your ticket. You will need a visa for the country of Tanzania or Ghana or wherever you're going to go. You can get that that visa online.
Or you can get it
and get an e-visa, if you want to say passport, or you can get it at the airport at your destination where you're going to go. You also need to check on the embassy's website or the state, State Department website.
To see what the vaccines are that you need to take.
The recommendations for prophylaxis or preventative medications that you need. For Tanzania specifically, malaria is something that you have to be considerate of, and therefore take medication before you go. Ideally 2 weeks before you leave and 8 weeks after.
No, it's a total of 8 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So while you start before you go, you take it during your trip, and then continue afterwards. And you would need to go to a travel clinic for that. Here comes one of our children. While we're waiting on our layover to Istanbul, Turkey, we decided to steal a little light in a quiet spot. So this is our 3rd child.
This is Cohen, Josiah.
Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Where are you going?
Where are you going?
To Tanzania.
Yes. Where is Tanzania? Do you remember where that is? Is it in America?
No.
Where is
Where is
it?
it?
It's in. What else that starts with an A? It's in Africa. You know that. Okay, so passports, visas, medications. Then there is another document that we needed, which was called a surveillance form, that you will need at the airport where you'll be boarding your flight. The final destination will be Tanzania. So, for example, I say final destination, meaning we flew from Tennessee to Chicago. We did not need to present that document until we got to Chicago, because Chicago is where we get our flight to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, with a layover in Istanbul. So, needed that form, and then of course you have to have your COVID test, pre-flight COVID and your post-trip COVID to fly back to the US. It's $100 in Tanzania, approximately $100 to $150. You can schedule that online at some of the health clinics, and we did that before we even left. We were fortunate to reach out to a church because we're part of a small faith community, Adventist, and we look out for each other in the Adventist community. So went online, found a church. My husband sent a message on that church's website saying, "Hi, we're coming. We're new to the area. Whatever insights and advice you can give us, we'd appreciate. Can you connect us with someone that can kind of guide us along our journey while we're there and planning and preparing to come. And we were really blessed. The woman that reached out to him, who managed the website, owns her own tourism company.
Managed Facebook website. Yeah.
Oh, the Facebook page.
It was Facebook
for the
page.
church.
They managed the Facebook page.
So she owns her own tourism company, and she helped us get together an itinerary and schedule our COVID tests, and she will help us to make sure we go to a reputable place to change our currency when we get there. So those are all things that you definitely want to talk about. You may need to make appointments for your children with a pediatrician in order to get the malaria pills. So write that down on your list. That might be something that you need to make sure you plan ahead for. And of course, taking your COVID test within 3 days of your flight. But so those are some of the logistical things, you know, of course, in addition to setting aside the money and saving and planning. So talk about approximately how much it costs.
So it depends. It always depends on when you go. That would depend on how much you're paying. We were able to get tickets that were relatively cheap, less than $1,000 per person, round trip. It was,
because I like, when I watch these videos,
800
I need
and
details. Like, I need to know how much to plan for. So
it was $800 and something per person.
round trip for our family of 5 each.
Yes, and so it was. I think it was like $4,600 total. $4,653, something like that, total for all 5 of us, which is great.
And then you want to get trip insurance.
Trip insurance.
Shop around, look online. InsureMyTrip.com is where I got ours. I use that always when we travel out of the country. And they've got lots of plans that you can compare. And our insurance costs $143 for my whole entire family. And that was the comprehensive plan that will cover any delays, any lost baggage, any medical expenses, if there were a hazardous weather situation and we had to evacuate, if our trip was canceled and our Airbnb had been paid, but you know, we didn't get reimbursed from them, they will cover that, as well as our airline tickets. So make sure you get trip insurance as well, and you typically need to purchase it within 21 days of your departure. So I like to look about 3 or 4 days after I buy my ticket and then go ahead and get it. If you wait too late, then you'll get into that window where you're too close to your flight and they will not honor any claims. So add trip insurance to your list of passport, visa, surveillance form.
And trip insurance doesn't cover COVID-related cancellations.
Correct, because
So,
they consider that a foreseeable event. We already know COVID is everywhere, so they're like plan for it. If you have a COVID outbreak where you're going and you choose to cancel your trip, then most trip insurance right now won't cover, won't refund you your expenses.
so that's probably about it that we will cover in today's video.
I feel like we need a theme song.
We'll come up with a theme song for next time. And so, Destination West Africa, we hope you enjoyed this video. We pray that it was informative, and we pray that you would subscribe to our page and like.
Yes, stay tuned because the children, my girls, are anxious to make videos, so you'll get to see them on the next one and hear their experience of our discussions around the house about moving to Africa and how they feel about it.
Yes, Destination West Africa. Take care. God bless.